1. The support of the White Emperor city is a scam. Liu Chan is fake. 2. He is not an enemy and does not have to be on guard against Sima Yi. 3. It is not Tu Chao at all, but the truth about the world. Cao Cao wanted to lock it up at Tongquei Terrace. When I woke up, I actually became Jiang Wei. I witnessed with my own eyes that Prime Minister Zhuge gave me 5 tips before he died. There were some strange rules in it. In addition to the beginning, there were 2 more. That is, 4. Don't let them know that you can see 5. Su Chao should exist in name only. Sun Quan had already sealed these rules, and I fell into complete contemplation. This world seems to be different from the 3 kingdoms in my impression, and it is even strange everywhere. The messengers of Wei Jun who came to my account were all dumb people with their tongues cut off. I also saw with my own eyes that the soldiers who came back from the battlefield suddenly went crazy. They started biting people until they were beheaded by the Prime Minister with an arrow. The contents of the kit also completely subverted my understanding of the 3 kingdoms. Be careful. Although Liu Chan Huzhu is incompetent, he really trusts the Prime Minister. With these doubts, I took the army back to Chengdu. As soon as I entered the city, I found something wrong. We withdrew our troops all the way back to the headquarters. People in the towns and villages passing by were mourning the Prime Minister. As written in the book, the whole country paid homage after the death of Marquis Wu. But Chengdu, which should have been crying everywhere, did not change. People lived as usual, with only a few families closing their doors and being mourned occasionally. And the closer to the palace, the fewer people were mourned. And when I entered the palace, everything in front of me made me shocked and angry. At this time, the people in the palace were celebrating. I held back my anger and wanted to vent in front of the Empress. But when I came to the palace, I finally understood why the Prime Minister left me a gift bag. The fat Empress Liu Chan is now hugging the palace maids and leading the civil and military officials to drink and have fun. I really can't see why His Majesty is happy in the palace. Liu Chan Wenyan laughed out loud. Does the general not know that Zhuge is dead and the biggest traitor in Shu is dead? I was stunned in place and his words made me sweat coldly. And you are the student general of the old fox. Do you think I should cut the grass and eradicate the roots? My brain is blank and my legs can't stop shaking. I don't know when the music stopped. Hundreds of people looked at me in unison. Just as I was about to kneel down and beg for mercy, Liu Chan suddenly laughed out loud. General, I was just joking. Why should you be so nervous? If it wasn't for the general lurking around him and poisoning him, how could he suddenly catch the disease and die? I just felt a buzzing sound in my brain, like being hit by lightning. During the northern expedition, I had been in charge of decocting the Prime Minister without taking medicine. I didn't learn it, so I couldn't see anything wrong with those prescriptions at all. At this moment, Liu Chan's expression on the dragon chair became more and more terrifying and distorted, and he didn't look like a human at all. His eyes stared straight at me. Can you see? I wanted to turn around and run away, but suddenly I remembered the tip bag that the Prime Minister left for me. Don't let them know that you can see it. So I could only endure my fear and nausea and force my words to calm down. The Prime Minister's death came to His Majesty's ingenious plan. I didn't dare to be greedy for the palace. As soon as my voice fell, Liu Chan returned to normal, but a trace of disappointment flashed in his eyes. Someone came to give the general a seat. He waved his hand impatiently and seemed to have completely lost interest in me. After returning to the residence, I locked myself in the room. What happened earlier was beyond my tolerance. The 3 kingdoms world in my depths had completely collapsed. The tip bag said that the truth was locked in the Tongquei Terrace, but that place was far away in the territory of the country. How should I get there? After thinking about it, I decided to find an ally first, and the first person I thought of was Li Yan. Li Yan was the last person present in the White Emperor city, apart from Liu Bei and Zhuge Liang. If the support was a scam, then he must have known something. Thinking of this, I hastened. After all, according to history, after Li Yan was demoted to several names, he passed away due to illness shortly after the Prime Minister died. I had to dare to see him before he died. I got my wish to see Li Yan, but to my surprise, he didn't look like a patient at all. Li Yan said with a smile, "The grass people have been waiting for the general for a long time," and I was really surprised that Li Yan knew I was coming. "The general doesn't have to be nervous. All this is actually the Prime Minister's flying pigeon passing on the book higher than the grass cotton." But soon I was relieved. It seems that Zhuge Liang is still clever in this world. The White Emperor City is actually a scam. The good brother's task of educating me and the Prime Minister before his death is not to assist, but the monarch. I felt the difference, and Li Yan's words stunned me. But soon I realized something was wrong. What is the relationship between the Northern Expedition and the Shijun army? Also, if the late emperor wanted to get rid of Liu Chan, why didn't he do it himself before his death? I also asked the late emperor, and the late emperor told me a story. In the 24 years of Jianan, the late emperor had the intention to kill and wanted to poison Liu Chan, but who knew that Liu Chan was not afraid, but also laughed, and said that at this time, he was already connected with the charm of Shu Han, and killing him was tantamount to suicide. In the same year, General Guan really died at the head of Suqiao, so the Prime Minister tried to go to the Northern Expedition. Liu Chan was the obligation of Wei, so he could only cut off his lifeline in the territory of Wei. The huge chaos completely occupied me. Liu Chan is the son of the previous emperor. How could he have anything to do with Wei? Click on the lower left corner to download Yan Yan. You can know the truth in advance. Li Yan continued to explain that the real Liu Chan had actually died as early as Changban Slope, and the monster that General Rizalong saved was the monster after Wei changed his package, so the late emperor would be scared to throw him on the ground when he saw him. So this is the real reason why the Prime Minister went to the Northern Expedition. But now that the Prime Minister is dead, if I mention the Northern Expedition again, I may be beheaded by Liu Chan on the spot. Isn't there any other way to restrain Liu Chan? Li Yan thought that Hua Tuo might know Hua Tuo, but wasn't he dead long ago? That was when the golden cicada escaped from his shell, and now he was hiding in Suqiao. After hearing this, I no longer hesitated, and he was defeated by Li Yan. But when my uncle opened the door and left, he heard a plop from behind. I turned around and saw that Li Yan had inserted a dagger into his abdomen. I rushed forward to help him up, but he refused the general. Do you know why the Prime Minister demoted me as a commoner? I have been tricked and will not survive. If I don't commit suicide, he will know all this sooner or later.